It's the evening of the 8th of February 2020 and it's my second day back at work after coming back from New Zealand. I've got TC Tropical Cyclone Damien now. I had Claudia when I left but it didn't make landfall. And you can see a strong southwesterly, a cold air stream passing over New Zealand. When I was there, I stayed at my friend's for 4 days because it was flooding. It was just a big front bringing tropical moisture down, and a couple of nights were really warm. Second night I didn't get to sleep. I didn't put the covers on until 3 in the morning. And our neighbours there, they emptied the tank because it tasted like Australian smoke, the water did. So they thought they'd get a fresh batch. And over here we've got heaps of storm activity and showers in the southeast of the country. That's been a persistent feature. There's thunder and rain outside and it's been going on for days and it's going to be going on for days yet. There's some smoke over here with the high pressure system trapping all this cloud, some easterlies with the clouds pushing up against the mountains in Tasmania, pretty unusual. And this front here is being squished up against the cyclone a bit with some fires in here which we'll have a look at. And the wind for the islands, Christmas and Cocos, is just a little bit unusual. So Cocos is getting some showers and Christmas normally has low cloud. It's got a bit of a break. So this is a little creek that flooded right up. My mate was worried about losing a bridge. Had some pretty high amounts of water flowing there and roads washed away. This is Guns Camp. I put the raft in here on the 30th of January. I was going to do a 4-day loop, but I pulled out. I thought it was too wet and miserable and I didn't really have the right gear. And you can see all this debris brought all over these lovely green lawns. Had all these trampers getting helicoptered out of the huts and tracks I'd just been walking on with landslides. Roads washed away. And all the snow is, you can notice through the Alps, all this ash that's been deposited. It was apparently worst on New Year's Day, but this is the 28th of Jan where some smoke drifted over in the morning and it was pretty bad as well. This is up at Mueller Hut. But all through the Alps it's really noticeable. You can see the red on the snow there. There. I have noticed a really faint sort of pinkish colour with algae growing on the snow, but I've never been able to notice anything like this before. Pretty stand out. This is up just on the main divide near the Dart River. Going back to Damien, so you can see there's a bit of an eye there that approached Karratha just before I finished my shift. As it did, we got wind gusts up to 100 knots, and once we were in the eye, unfortunately the ceilometer and the vismeter, which measure cloud heights and visibility, broke just before it happened, as they do. But we got the winds dropped right down to under 15 knots. There's a convective arm here with some storms that developed. It was a fun day at work. So you can see that the winds got to nearly 200 kilometres in the gusts and down to 22 k's an hour as the eye passed over. So the temperatures were a little cooler than normal where the rainfall is, as you'd expect, but quite hot down here. And there were actually some fires down here. And with this rain, we're expecting more to come. There's warnings out for most of the New South Wales coast. And these YouTube videos are pretty cool because there's a record of them. You can see what we said instead of what the media likes to tell you about how everything's going to be crazy because they have to have clickbait and all that, but blah, blah, blah. We've got some warm oceans here, and the idea is that this high pressure system directs these winds bringing in all that moisture. And we've also got this upper low, which is basically making everything really unstable. So if we look at the sounding, you can see it's really moist the whole way up. There's just heaps of moisture there and unstable as well. So we've just had, storms and showers developing pretty much everywhere. You can see them on the radar. There's some really heavy falls happening and everywhere's got a good drink. This is up till 9 AM this morning, but it was similar again today, and we can expect it to slowly move south, mostly affecting New South Wales tomorrow. Unfortunately, they've had most of their forest burnt out, so the leaves won't be able to stop the raindrops from eroding away the soil, so we can expect to see a lot of flash flooding and landslides, particularly tomorrow. But there's plenty going on, that's for sure. I think that's most of what I was going to say. Yeah, the other thing is this tropical low brewing up here will in about a week's time be coming down towards New Zealand and keeping that place wet again. My mate who's from work has just gone there. When I saw him on my first shift, he said he reckons he's got about 3 good days of his holiday and then it's all going to be wet. But yeah, New Zealand can do that. And yeah, heaps going on. I just felt I had to make a video.